Live for the big 100th episode. We want to do something a little bit different tonight. We want to celebrate you, the viewer, our audience, those of you who have been with us from the very start. This program has always been about you. This program has always been about the American people and having a robust discussion back and forth on the issues of the day, on what it's going to take to make America great again. So with that being said, we're going to go right into it. And when you call in, please include your name and where you're calling in from. And we're going to get right into it. This caller is coming to us from St. George, Utah. Hello, can you hear me? Great. Thanks for joining us. You're live with America's Mayor. All right, we're going to try that again, ladies and gentlemen. Again, tonight's all about you, the caller, our audience. We're taking a call here. Is this Ronald?
Yes, it is.
Ronald, this is This is Ted with America's Mayor Live. You're live on the air. The mayor right now is actually here in Tennessee. We're coming to you live from Tennessee. You're stuck with me tonight.
Okay.
For now, we're going to have him join us after he's done taping with the great Governor Mike Huckabee. But we are thankful for you calling in. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing just great, and thank you for everything that you're doing for this country. I appreciate that. And I have a question for you.
Sure.
If you can take my, I heard Mike Lindell, and I think some kind of attorney was speaking about that there's a court case. I might be wrong on this, but I think I definitely heard him say that there might be a court case out there that might reverse the presidential and give it back to Trump. Now, is that true? My question is this information that I'm requesting, is it true that there's a court case out there?
I'd have to look at the specifics to what you're referring to. Of course, there were a number of issues brought to light following the 2020 election. And so it's always good to look into what the latest is. I think there's a number of legal proceedings pertaining to legitimate concerns with the 2020 election. Of course, with the most recent 2022 election in places like Arizona, candidate Carrie Lake has continued to keep up the fight to ensure our election process remains, or not remains, but is secure.
Yeah.
And one thing we can always look to when it comes to Democrats is, right away, you can't talk about election security. You can't even question elections, right? They instantly shut you down. But Ron, are you calling us from Saginaw, Michigan?
Yes, it's actually Bay City, Michigan.
I myself went to Saginaw Valley State University for my undergrad.
Whoa, okay.
How amazing
That's real
is
close.
that? That's real close.
That's great. That's great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going down Mackinac Road in Saginaw, so I passed that college today even. So that's really close.
It's really close. It's a great school. And a shout out to the Saginaw Valley State University Cardinals. Well, we hope you'll keep tuning in. Next time you call in, let's try to get you some time with the mayor. But I really appreciate you calling in, and I hope you'll stick with us and keep watching because this is all about you and the viewers.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for calling me.
Thank you, of course.
For taking my call again.
Of course.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So one thing you're going to see from us here is a lot of times here, I'm going to be calling you guys. It's a lot easier that way. Hello.
Please leave your message for.
So we're going to call this number and hopefully it doesn't go to voicemail. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, who is this and where are you calling in from? This is Ted with America's Mayor Live. You're live on the air.
Yeah, it's me, Stacy from St. George, Utah. Hello, everybody. I just want to help. Where people say that they don't know what they can do. What I've done in my community, I've actually went to the sheriff's department and made sure that they were constitutional sheriffs. That's a place where we can all start. I've also signed up with Jay Seklov's. He puts out like a lot of letters. You'll automatically get like a petition and you just sign it and then it automatically gets to your representatives. So that's another way we can, save America. I just wanted to tell everybody that. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in and giving us that. What was your name and where are you calling again from? Utah?
Yeah, Stacy from St. George, Utah.
Stacy, so a question for you, if I may.
Yeah.
Utah, talk to us about Utah. How do you see the 2024 presidential primary going in Utah?
Well, we're Trump country, and except for I'm a little worried about Salt Lake. That's like 3-4 hours away from me up north. But there are two women. They're called the two Utah Red Pill, or they've been fighting for our election integrity. And I know I try to do what I can there, but as far as I know, that they're really doing some digging and they're finding out some big errors in our elections. So we're under the guise that we think our votes matter when, I don't want to, I feel like I have to talk code, but you know what I mean. Anyways, yeah, we're not too keen on Romney. I don't know anybody that I know that voted for him, but I wish that we could recall these governors, that do bad. Our Constitution is beholden to that. We're supposed to be able to, and it's really hard to see communists in our government,
That's right. So you do feel Trump will win the primary in 2024?
Yeah, I feel like he will, and I have faith.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your call. Please keep tuning in. We hope to see you back here next week, and you'll listen to the rest of tonight's show, of course. I apologize that you're stuck with me today on the phone. The next time you call, we'll get you on.
We love you. Okay. Well, all right. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Sorry for the delay, but thank you for waiting with us. And, we're going to remember those of you who are with us from the start. So thank you. Sure. And we hope you'll call in again real soon.
Yeah. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you so much. Again, tonight's all about you, the caller. So we're going around. We want to get through to everyone who calls in. If you don't get through right away, I have a list of the numbers, and I'm actually going back and calling folks back. So we're going to keep going here. We're going to reach out to Rick in Illinois. Let's see if we get a hold of Rick.
Hello.
Hi, is this Rick?
Yes.
Are you in Illinois?
Yes, I am. I'm in Foxville, Illinois.
We are talking with Ted Goodman on America's Mayor Live, and you are live on the air.
All right. Well, I just wanted to call in and say I'm a very proud Republican. I'm not far right. I'm not far left. I'm right in the middle, just a common sense guy. I'm just a hardworking dad that raised his kids. I service funerals here in Southern Illinois, and I appreciate everything that the mayor does. It's always good to get the word out with common sense kind of politics than what we have been used to. I will say I talk to a lot of people because I am out and about, that, with guys like me that work for a living, we have to work on our vehicles. We have to make it to work. We don't get the free stuff, so we have to make do out here. But I do appreciate what you guys do with your show. We have to keep pushing forward. America has to be great. I'm a veteran. My dad's a veteran. My grandfather was a veteran. You know, it's just the way
Thank you
it
for your
has to go.
service, and thank you for the service of all of your family members.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we all have to come together. I mean, you know, the thin blue line, everybody, we just have to get this nonsense behind us. I mean, I don't know. I mean, everybody is just like, we're scared. You know, we don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, this stuff is really with Biden in there. And, you know, you hate to be a bad person or anything like that because we're all Christians, you know, some of us are. And you just hate to be scared for what is next, you know, with the COVID stuff and then Chinese balloon and then the eggs going up. You know, I've raised chickens my whole life. You know, it's crazy. And I have Amish that live close to us, Mennonites that live close to us. It's crazy that people are spreading the fear. And we need to get back to common sense. And I think you guys are doing it. The mayor does a great job. I followed him for years. And I know New York and Southern Illinois is two different places, but I appreciate what you guys do. God bless everybody listening to this show.
Rick, before you let you go, I like to ask everybody a question. Can we ask you a question pertaining to Illinois? Maybe you can share with the rest of us. Adam Kinzinger. Are you familiar with Adam Kinzinger?
I've heard the name, yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with, so the state of Illinois, tell us a little bit about the primary process. Is Trump the favorite in Illinois with the Republican primary, or can you see somebody else emerging in the Republican field?
Okay, well, I'll tell you how everything worked out. You know, Darren Bailey was running for governor.
Yep.
You know, actually, I went to grade school with Darren Bailey.
Oh, wow. I know
here in
that
Southern Illinois.
Yeah,
so I knew him. So, you know, he won almost every county in this state except for Chicago and maybe one other. Yep.
Except for Cook County, right?
You're exactly right. So see, here in Southern Illinois, from Peoria down, from halfway down, we're stuck. We're a blue state. Or a red state.
Yeah. It's Chicago.
And they killed us. They killed us. I mean, they control everything in Illinois. Actually, we've had a thing going on for a while that we wish that Chicago would be kicked out of Illinois.
Well, your state gave us the great Barack Obama, so thank you for that.
No. That his birth certificate, I haven't seen it yet. So,
what about, go ahead.
I'm not really into politics. I'm into common sense. You treat your neighbor with the best sense you can treat your neighbor. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
No matter what they do, what they do, you just do good for others.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not going to go MAGA. I don't like that. You know, everybody gets blamed. If I don't like how somebody does something, they say I'm a Trump. I don't care about Trump. I love Trump. He did a damn good job. But, you know, I didn't like what he tweeted and stuff like that. I wouldn't, do that. But Ron DeSantis or anybody else or, some of the other leaders are really good. But we can sure find somebody better than Biden, that's for sure. And Illinois can sure find somebody better than the guy we've got right now.
J.B. Pritzker.
He don't even live in Illinois.
Where does he live?
He's never lived in the state capital.
Oh, jeez.
He took pullets out of his mansion so that he couldn't have to pay taxes on it. And then they come back on him. So, that's a corruption we don't need. And I like that you guys are out there. Keep putting this stuff on. Everybody calls us conspiracy theorists. It's not. It's the truth. And that's what you got to do,
Well, these so-called conspiracy theorists have been batting darn near 1,000 the last couple of years, if you ask me, Rick.
Hey, they're making money and people are starving. You know what? There's vets out there that can't get the proper health care that they need. There's, like a guy like me right now, I work 6-7 days a week. I go out and I bury your family. Your family has a funeral, I go out and do it. You know, I'm the number one in our vault company here in Salem, Illinois, and I go out 7 days a week. It wasn't what I wanted. The boss wanted me to come work for him. I said, job only. Okay, well, I'm working 6, 7 days a week. All right. You know, I filed my tax return. I claimed 0. Claim 1 that when I filed my taxes, I owe $2 to the federal government. But then there's guys out here that are getting $6, $7, $8, $9,000 back because they're out here making babies and not working. You know what I mean? I have to pay. I have to pay to make sure that my truck. I have car insurance. I have license tags on my car to go to and from work and get there in the winter or not. You know, in the weather. And these people can sit at home and make money. I think that's wrong. And I don't know about anybody else, but I think it's wrong. You know, I don't care about helping somebody with a hand up, not a hand out.
That's a good line, and that's what that's something I think we as a party could message more. We're not. It's not that we're heartless and don't care about people, but you do more for someone. What's the saying? You know, you do more for someone by teaching them how to fish rather than giving them a fish, right?
Well, yeah, that was kind of the way. I'm in my mid-50s, but back in the day, we used to send, you know, for some of them people who bathe their cows in the water that they drink, you know, and you sit there and say, we could send farmers over to help these in some of these countries and teach them how to grow. You know, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do stuff. I mean, you can grow stuff in a bale of hay sitting on its side, you know, so you're not taking from the ground up. You know, you're just doing it, but. The thing of it is, this country is a mess. That border stuff down in Texas, I worked down in Texas. As a matter of fact, I was in San Antonio when I was in the Air Force, you know, from a basic. We're going to get some vigilante stuff going on, and, you know, it shouldn't come to that, but we're going to. People need to be protected. There's kids going to get, you know, you're going to have to watch your kids. Everybody's worried about pit bulls, you know, walking around, dogs walking around biting your kids. You better watch these people coming in from these other countries. It's not the good-hearted people looking for a better place to live. It's people looking to get drugs and make money and slavery and everything else. And you can see it as clear as a bell if you sit there and watch it. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am just somebody with common sense. You bring those people over. Bless the hearts of the people who live on those borders that have to put up with this stuff day in and day out. Because I would arm myself and I would shoot everything I seen moving if I was down there. And I'm in Illinois. And when's it going to come to here?
Well, thanks for the call, and we hope to stay in touch with those of you that are calling in and you're not getting through. I see your calls. I try to go back and call back. So if you do call and don't get through, stay on the line. No screeners here, no producers. You're looking at them. So it's just you and me tonight. The mayor will join us in a little bit. We didn't talk much about this, but where we are tonight, we are live in the office of Governor Mike Huckabee in his most incredible studios here in Hendersonville, Tennessee, where the governor does his weekly show. He's opened this up for us. The mayor is on with Mike for his weekly show, which you'll be able to see very soon. But on top of that, that's being taped as we speak. He opened up his own office to me and the mayor, so that we could also keep our live stream going. And he was so gracious with his time, and we're so appreciative to the governor and his entire team here in Henderson, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. And of course, we're here on a very busy news night. Let's see, the phone lines continue to go. So again, this is all about the phone calls tonight on a very busy news night. Here we go. We want to make sure we're getting through and answering all of our calls. So give us a call. We are going to see. We got back with. Let's see if we got through to Washington. We made 4 calls. We've gotten through to 4 of you so far. A few of you we've been working to call back here. Let's check in with Iowa.
Hello. Check in with.
Name and where you're tuning in from. Also, if you could turn down the show on your computer.
Yeah, I will. Name and where you're tuning in from. Also, if you could turn down the show.
So we all get to hear that twice. Iowa.
Yeah,
So who are we talking with?
my name's Sherry.
Sherry. How do you spell
Yeah.
Sherry? I'm gonna put your name up here on the
Thanks. SHERI.
SHERI. And where are you tuning in from?
Yeah. Des Moines, Iowa, where DeSantis was earlier tonight.
Oh, DeSantis was there tonight. Okay.
Yeah, and I think Trump's coming maybe tomorrow, but he's not coming to Des Moines. He's going to Davenport, which is by the Mississippi River.
Well, give us
Over there.
and look, I don't want you to give us what you think people might want to hear on our little show here. Give us your unfiltered, raw reaction to the event this evening with Governor DeSantis.
Well, I didn't watch much of it. I just saw some clips, and I just know the fake news around here is like pushing it, but I don't think anybody falls for it much. I think I live in a Democrat area, but the people that are Republicans are probably Trumpers, I would guess.
So
Common sense
So
people.
so you're saying the reaction to Governor DeSantis, you didn't see it, you just heard about it?
Yeah, I saw it on the news, like on our local news.
That's interesting. So what you're saying is the local news seems to be pushing this, but
Oh yeah,
but you
they're
think,
all in for DeSantis, just like the, national news, similar.
sure. So
They're-
who are you with, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm with Trump ever since his first, when nobody thought he could become president back then here in Iowa, and he had his first rally.
You were
I got
there.
really up close to him and everything. I got great pictures. His family is stunning. Like when you see them, they're just stunning looking,
They are something else, aren't they?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. And Melania was so tiny, her little legs, like everything was good. I've been on that ever since. So
So what are so to give us a little bit of an insight here, of course, Iowa, first in the nation
Mhm.
for the caucus, right? They're first with their Iowa caucus,
Y-
followed by
yeah.
New Hampshire and then South Carolina. Sherry, give us some on the ground, unfiltered analysis here going into 2024. You've kind of shared with us a little bit here on the DeSantis coverage. How's the Iowa caucus process going to play out? Let's stick to Republicans tonight for the Republican Party.
We have a lot of rhinos here, but we also have some good ones like, Chuck Grassley, Kim Reynolds. We have a lot of, we got rid of Cindy Axne and got Zach Nunn.
Yes,
We
I've
we
heard that
flipped
name. None, yeah.
we flipped my area flipped to Republican here in Des Moines, which my section of Des Moines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we actually did flip red with Zach Nunn, and they were spying on him, like they were all of us.
Oh wow. Wow.
I remember on the news recently they said that somehow his information was released. He was in the military.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're coming down on him, which I'm glad for. And I know Rudy has a lot to do with it. So he's one of my heroes. I have a few of them. Him, Trump, probably Joe Arpaio, they're all Republicans.
Well, I would say the same about the mayor, of course, and President Trump. Truly two of the greatest Americans alive. And of
Yeah, I
course,
know.
right? And just great men, great leaders, just two
Yes,
individuals.
I remember September 11th when he was very strong during that time, and even Trump came down to ground zero. I could remember all that. So I've been with these guys forever.
It's just
it's
incredible, right? The leadership,
Yeah.
the strength, the poise shown by these two
Yeah.
individuals, and you contrast
Yeah.
that, and you contrast these two great men to these so-called other leaders, these politicians. Oh gosh,
Oh,
it's not even. Oh my goodness,
yeah, I know. Yeah, there's not even in the same ballpark.
they're not even in the same ballpark, Sherry.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
and I just love Rudy when he does like I even liked when he went to the baseball games this summer,
Yeah,
last summer. I mean,
yeah.
oh, that was fun.
Oh,
Yeah, so I watch you guys all the time. I always forget, like for some reason I'm always busy and I always miss sometimes, but I always watch it before the next night.
well, we appreciate that, and we're certainly trying to build up our audience going into 2024. And maybe Sherry,
Mhm.
you'll stick around with us and keep us
Oh, I will.
keep us in the know. We've just started doing calls not too long ago, but maybe you can be one of our Iowa people, right? As we get closer, we'll want to stay.
I
on
would
top of
love
things.
that because I'm going to try to go to his rallies as it gets closer toward the,
That'd be
when they
great.
start ramping up here.
Absolutely, and maybe and look, what we also want is some good analysis from voters, people like you who live in Iowa, know Iowa, and understand the people. We want to hear from you as the process plays out rather than these reporters that fly in from Washington for a couple of days, right? They
Right.
show up.
Even a lot of my friends and family are Democrats, so I have to deal with it. You know what I mean? And they used to think I was crazy. I told them, I said, I'm getting bored. They're like, why? I said, because I need new conspiracy theories because all mine came true.
They all came true. They're all coming true.
I said, so I'm really looking for more conspiracy theories now. I don't have any lately except that balloon, maybe.
Yeah, we got to come up with something with that balloon. What could we start with that balloon? Do you remember that balloon boy from like a dozen years ago? I just keep thinking of. Do you remember that? Was that like 2009 or 10?
I don't know. It was funny though. Oh, yeah. You mean with the guy
boy?
that with the house go away?
Yeah, and they thought there was a boy in the balloon.
Yeah.
Was there? I don't even remember if there ended up being a boy in the balloon or not. But that was the last time. The balloon
boy in the bubble or something. Was that what?
Yeah, balloon boy and the balloon. Yeah. Fascinating story, but we're going to stay in touch with you moving forward, and maybe we can give you a call.
Okay, thanks for having me. I'm going to let you go on. Yeah, in case you go to somebody else, but I'll call back or keep in touch.
Just stay in touch, Sherry. We really appreciate that.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a great night, everybody.
You too. And that is Sherry in Iowa. So we've heard from Iowa. We've heard from an individual in Washington, and of course Illinois. And Michigan. So we're getting a good number of calls. Here we go. Let's go to Las Vegas. This got to be exciting, right? See what's happening in Las Vegas. And right now in Las Vegas, I believe it is almost 6. Hi, who is this?
Hello.
Who is this?
Hang on 1 second. Let me turn off the. I got the feed on. I'm gonna cut that off there.
Yeah, a little bit delayed. A little bit delayed.
Okay, I got you. Is that better?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, no, I just for your own purpose, it's delayed if you're listening to the live feed as opposed to the phone call. Who are we speaking with?
Okay, my name is Michael David Garcia. I currently live in Pahrump, Nevada. It's Nye County, one of the corruptest county in the nation. I'm about 60 miles northwest of Las Vegas, in between Sin City and Death Valley. My AG, I call him my butternut, is Mr. Aaron Ford, who's got flat tires when it comes to being from Texas. I'm from Texas. I hold the Texas Creed. I'm on a national platform for family abuse victims. I represent the FBI list that black robes wear child abuse. Okay, there's 400 teachers across this country that are arrested for pushing pornography on our children. I was a father arrested at a school board microphone speaking about parental alienation dynamics. The superintendent didn't like what I had to say. He emailed a trespass warning for NRS 392910, which is an in-school assault on a public microphone, which is protected by open meeting laws. They actually recorded and certified a lien against my parental rights. The DOJ memo, Garland, he testified that we do have an absolute right. I was arrested twice. I just got released from an ICE pod with the convicted felons that were illegal aliens that were waiting to be deported.
Michael.
Okay.
Michael.
Yes.
Okay. Can you give us in 2 or 3 sentences, and people can look back, they can rewind the tape. What are you telling us here? Can you kind of give us a quick
Yes,
summary
sir.
of-
I was arrested a few months back. My video with Captain Berkowitz, who is notorious for raping women inside of a cell. He should have been fired. He's head of the sheriff's union. Okay. I do not have constitutional commissioners. The video went viral. He violated my rights. He actually took me out of an open meeting, school board meeting, and 10 million people seen it, and they still put a lien on my inalienable rights. They are derailing the DOJ memo. They are crucifying parents here in Nevada. They registered it and they locked me up in an ice pod with convicted aliens.
We're gonna follow up with you to get to see what we can do here. Thank you for the call. We're gonna follow up to see how we can help Michael. I now have a very special guest. I guess we're calling him a guest now, but
No, call me a guest.
it's his program. America's mayor.
Rudy!
So we're gonna reset here the camera where we are live. This is the big 100th episode, and we have the mayor with us. So, Mayor, do we know when we're gonna be able to see this this program that you were just on?
Well, we should be able to see it tomorrow on CBN,
TBN.
TBN, and it's at. I believe it's at 8 o'clock.
And we'll make sure to get that.
We'll get it out too. It's a very, very. I saw the first part of it too before Dr. Maria and I were on because we had a hard time getting here. Our plane was, well, frankly, we missed our plane. Therefore, we had to wait. We had to wait in Miami for quite some time. Then we got here just in time, and they switched around the show. Mike was nice enough to switch around the show. We got to listen to his monologue, which was, of course, both brilliant and funny, humorous, if you can be humorous, about the deception involved in withholding the 40,000 hours of tapes. I think Mike expressed sort of all Americans' shock at how the Democrats are treating this like they didn't do anything wrong, but that the Republicans are doing something wrong by bringing out the tapes that were hidden. People shouldn't see the tapes that are hidden because people shouldn't see what really happened. So, I mean, there are people who have been telling us for quite some time, witnesses, that the police used unnecessary force against Ashley Babbitt, and then outside against Roseanne Boyland. And so now, what is isn't the answer for you to take a look and decide it for yourself? Why don't you take a look at I can provide you with the tapes on Ashley Babbitt and show you and take you through it, and then you make up your mind. I mean, I have conclusions that I draw from it. You may draw different conclusions. That's what getting at the truth is all about. Like, there's a point where you can't tell if she's attempting to jump over or they are helping her to push her over. You actually can't tell if she's made the decision to jump over. It looks almost as if she's poised there. You know, one way to interpret it is as a target. Another is an indecision. When people jump, I've had experience, unfortunately, with jumpers. When people jump, there's always an indecision. Jumping always seems easier than it actually is. And I almost see in her from the first moment I saw that tape, which was only about 4 hours after it happened, I saw indecision. But what I didn't see was a dangerous woman. I didn't see a woman that it was necessary to kill her, which is the standard. The standard is he has to be in reasonable fear of his life. And if that cop was in reasonable fear of his life, he shouldn't be a cop. He should be, I don't know, something else. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. The mayor has just joined us, and of course, we are in Hendersonville, Tennessee, just outside Nashville. an incredible studio. And I was thinking of a way maybe in the near future where we could be more mobile, which of course we're very mobile. We take this set all over the country, but where maybe we could walk and show them this incredible studio.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I'd love to do that. This is a beautiful arrangement here. Mike does this show, which is remarkable every week, and he brings people together. It's almost like a campus.
Yeah, it really is.
Gives them a chance not only to do television, but also to talk and to share ideas. But they do a lot of other broadcasting out of here too.
Interesting.
Yeah, they do a lot of other Christian broadcasting. Right? Yeah.
And of course, they were so gracious, both the governor and his entire team, to allow us to be here. They gave us free reign of the place. Here's the key. Take it. It's all yours. Do what you want with it. So
I think we should arrange it so Dr. Maria can get on.
I think we should.
Because I mean, they
expecting
really
another share.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, they really did it.
Oh, no, come take over for me. I need a break.
Well, did you tell him, Ted, that this is Governor Huckabee's office?
I did. Here, come on in.
So it's a beautiful office. We were mainly talking about uncovering the truth, but because January 6th and the tapes that Tucker Carlson got, the governor brought out that, oh my God, we've been lied to. And Nancy Pelosi hires this ABC executive producer for the January 6th committee. And it was a production instead of a committee to look at the truth. What happened? We want to know if FBI was involved, Antifa was involved. They didn't do that. They had their own narrative they wanted to portray.
No, the narrative was on the day of the beginning of the investigation, Trump was guilty of insurrection. On the end of the investigation, he was guilty of insurrection. And in between, there was no evidence of insurrection. Nor was anybody charged with insurrection, much less proven to have been involved in insurrection. Yet they continue to say insurrection. And it's absurd because insurrection is a very, very, very difficult crime to prove. Even incitement to riot was absurd when you consider that his last words were, go peacefully and patriotically. To incite to riot, you virtually have to lead someone into the riot.
Yeah.
You have to do what the people that the FBI let off because they're rats. They let off Sullivan, who was telling people the day before to go burn the place down, to take the president out. He was never even arrested for threatening the president, which is an outrage. I mean, these people hated Trump so much, they didn't even give him the benefit of the protection of the president's statute.
Correct.
And then you had that other guy, Epps.
Ray
Epps, who was shooting his mouth off about getting into the Capitol and burning it down.
They uncovered texts.
We got to go into the Capitol. And people around me were like, no.
And meanwhile,
he's like, no, we got to go into the Capitol.
Now, that guy is free.
He was finally interviewed by the January 6th committee only after a lot of pressure. And it was softball questions, but he lied to the committee. He said he was already home at a specific time when they have him there at the Capitol, and they had a text from him that they didn't release to the public until now, thanks to McCarthy, that he was writing his nephews, and he was bragging that he was inciting a riot. That was, kind of my.
So when does he get prosecuted for perjury?
There's
when the hell freezes over.
Incredible meme on the internet that instead of saying Ray Epps, R-A-Y, it's a picture of Director Ray from the FBI, W-R-A-Y Epps. So saying that he was under the direction of Christopher Ray.
Well, there's a guy that the FBI to such an extent that his picture should be taken down when he retires.
He should have resigned, but he has no guilt. He has no conscience.
He hiding the hard drive, covering it up, and letting a man get elected president who is a 30-year crook. And letting a man get elected president, think about this, that that our enemies have all this material on them. Can you love America and let a person get elected president where that the Russians and the Chinese have exactly the same material that I have? and the FBI,
Caller.
which compromises him 100 ways to Sunday. Was I shocked when he gave away Bagram Air Base? Am I shocked that he sells out to China? Yeah, $31 million shocked.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know Gray, never met him. He was a lawyer for Christie. Never heard of him as a lawyer.
Christopher Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard of him as a lawyer. But he's sure as hell. He does everything to tell you he's a corrupt FBI director. Everything. Covers up everything. And how you cover up that hard drive with the evidence of crimes jumping out of it has to make you a criminal, not an FBI agent. You should resign. It's terrible. But it was wonderful being here with the governor. The governor and I have a very, very special relationship that began really, I mean, I knew him before, but began when we ran against each other beginning in 2007. A lot of times in New Hampshire.
President.
Yeah, and we would talk after the debates, and we started to really like each other, even though we had somewhat different views. He was much more right wing then, and I was more middle. He's probably stayed about where he was. Maybe he's come a little bit, and I moved out. Well, they moved me to the right with their with their insanity, like on abortion. You talk about abortion in the first month, the second month. You don't talk about abortion in the 7th and 8th and 9th month, killing a baby, or even killing the baby after the baby's born. I mean, they drove me out. What they're doing in schools. Don't tell the parents that the kids want to change their gender. Kids change their mind 50 times.
It's such a gross perversion.
I came to a point a few years ago where it all came together for me with all the years that I'd studied communism and fought communism with Reagan, and that this is the culmination of a long-term 100-year communist infiltration of not only our government but our society. They want to change us. They want to stop us from being a Christian, Judeo-Christian, God-fearing nation. They want to stop us from having families. You know, what are the prime things Black Lives Matter wants to do, which is a Marxist organization, is to do away with the generic family.
Yeah,
no
right.
mother, no father.
Mother, father.
Let the state run you. The state really loves you. Yeah, the governments really love you. It's a terrible
odd
situation.
Time we're living in, especially. You're a little bit older than me, and so isn't Governor Huckabee. But I grew up with the same type of stuff, like all the kids in the neighborhood played together. You came in at 7 o'clock. You had a mother and father in your family. You trusted the government. You wanted it small, but you knew probably there was some corruption, maybe this much, but not this much.
Yeah,
and you weren't constantly lied to, and you had ethical journalism. Back then, remember, it was just 1987 when the left-wing media called out Joe Biden for plagiarism and lying and saying he was top of his class. You wouldn't get that today. It's like they feel like they got to cover anybody with a D after their name.
Any calls?
Oh.
I took 5 or 6 calls.
No,
we got any?
We had great calls. They're coming in. We only have the one headset.
I know, but do we have a call?
Yeah. Well,
let you do your call.
Let's put one on.
Okay.
Wow, you took 5 or 6.
Yeah, great. And we wanted to celebrate. We're gonna have the mayor move to the middle here.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. And we're gonna give him the headset. And I'll handle the. There you go. And we're gonna call right away. Confirm that you hear it ringing, Mayor. You hear the phone ringing?
I hear it ringing.
Okay. Hello, you are on the air with Mayor Giuliani. Let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from.
Hey, Rudy. I'm from West Union, Iowa. I talked to you last night. This is Keith Carey from West Union, Iowa.
Okay, what's
and
up?
I know. I'm just going to tell you about some of the. We have a kosher meat packing place here, about 11 miles from my place, and a long time ago, ICE came in, and they had a bunch of illegals working there, and they come in, and they They knew who they all were. They went and checked the green cards while they at work. They went. I mean, they had the helicopters and the 2 big white buses up here and stuff. And anyway, they rounded them all up, split the families up, left, and they took them back and they flew them back into Mexico and wherever they were from. And anyway, what got me, I was a deputy sheriff, and before that time, I was retired when this was going on. But we have a traffic stuff. We'd always be stopping traffic up around that area. And I mean, it's just our county's right next to that county. So we get a lot of people from our area working over there and vice versa. But anyway, we'd have some traffic stops and these people didn't have no driver's license. They didn't have
So tell me the point.
Oh, anyway, if we didn't have a serious misdemeanor or a felony against them, release them. There's one time we had 12 of them. They're all packed in a van.
So
And
what
then
you're
they come
telling
up-
me is this has been going on
The feds just let them.
that this has been going on for a long time. It's just kind of gotten worse to the point of an epidemic. But I think you're right. This has been going on for a long time. Biden didn't invent catch and release. Obama did it. Biden brought it back after Trump had largely done away with it. Not completely. I mean, because it takes a while to largely do away with it. Trump had brought the numbers down, not to zero, but to numbers that looked like they were headed in the right direction. Probably Trump needed another 2 or 3 years, particularly after that historic agreement with Mexico, in which he got the Mexican government to do the checks over there rather than here. But then all of a sudden we have this complete reversal. We have this clarion call to the border by Biden at the Democrat convention in 20, surge to the border. We have basically laying down our arms at the border and letting the cartels take over. And I don't think the story has been told. I'm reading something now that I'll bring to you next week. I'm really checking it out. But I don't think the story has been told about how dangerous these cartels are. We think Colombian cartels, first of all, because they were in the same business, drugs. We think mafia, both Italian and the other version to the mafia, really bad. There's an extra element to this, maybe because of the conspiracy with the Chinese and the terrorists. They give it a different dimension that might, in fact, make this group the most dangerous we've ever faced. And we have to think in terms of military action against them. I'm not necessarily talking about conventional military action, but the kind of things we did in Colombia. And we're capable of wiping them out. And it should be quick. It should be fast. It should be done according to the Powell Doctrine with incredible force, overwhelming force, more force than absolutely necessary. It should have a goal. Goal should be to eliminate them. And then once we eliminate them, we take control of our borders, put up the fence, put the guards at the fence. Ain't going to happen no more, boys. Ain't going to happen no more as soon as we get a president. But maybe he could get started by starting the military action. I don't know. He seems to want to show somebody that he's got some guts. I mean, he doesn't, but maybe he'll do it with the Mexican cartels. Let's see. And I also think you might have a surrender by Lopez Obrador if that actually happened. Lopez Obrador doesn't want to see us come over that border and wipe out those cartels. And we would not have to go far into Mexico to wipe them out because they stay right by the border because they're the gatekeepers. And drive them away from there, then Mexico can drive them back the rest of the way in Mexico. But here we are spending all this money in Ukraine. Good. I hope it's getting to the Ukrainians and not to the massive corrupt oligarchs in Ukraine. Seeing that kind of money, I can't believe it's all getting to the people. But in any event, I think some is, and I think it's necessary. But if that's necessary, we got a bigger invasion going on and it is directly taking the lives of our young people day in and day out. And something needs to be done about it. We have another call.
I believe so. We'll get right to it. Let's put the number up on the screen so people can see that. So they know the number, Mayor.
We should turn this around a little at some point and show them
Yes,
this beautiful office that Mike has here.
Let's call back Pocatello, Idaho. See if we get an answer.
Pocatello, Idaho.
Please leave your message for
No, we have a message. here.
Virginia.
Virginia, we returned your call, my dear.
Oh, Phoenix, Arizona. Let's go to Phoenix, Arizona. When they answer, this should be Peter.
Mr. Mayor?
How are you? Hello?
Hello.
So
Is this the mayor? Am I
Yes.
talking to Mayor Giuliani?
you sure are. You're talking to Rudy Giuliani. Yes, sir.
Mr. Giuliani, it's a real pleasure to speak with you. I used to live in New York when you were mayor, and you cleaned New York really well. We were so proud of you. It was the best ever.
Well, tell me.
I just got a couple of questions here.
Please, that's why we called you back. We want to hear your question.
I really appreciate that. I was just wondering, are we going to go with RICO again? Are we going to get these guys? Because, I mean, how much more evidence do we need?
No more.
Ukraine, I mean,
We have,
Ukraine, the laptops, I mean, go back to Wasserman Schultz. You go, I mean, how far can we go?
we have a surplus of evidence that Joe Biden was running a racketeering enterprise called the Biden crime family, that it began somewhere around the beginning of his time in the Senate, that it started with small bribes in the nature of his brothers acting like advocates for companies, and I don't know if they were registering as lobbyists or not, but that isn't really the key. The key is that this was bribe money for Joe, and then that money started,
Absolutely.
then that money started to build up. Then you had, I think, the big sellout to the MBNA bank when his son got a
Correct. The credit cards. Yes, I remember all that. I
He-
mean,
he was the only
how much
Democrat-
more information do we need? How much more evidence do we need?
He was the only Democrat who opposed the change of the bankruptcy bill to help poor people. His fellow Democrats couldn't figure out why. Well, the son was getting the son was getting a no-show
Yep.
job from the bank, just like he got a no-show job from the Ukrainian crook. And then
At Burisma, correct.
and then they went big time. They went to work for some of the biggest crooks and murderers in the world. I mean, these
And
guys,
they're still working for them. And now you have Kerry's son, or son-in-law, and then you have other people, Pelosi's son, and you have, I mean, oh my God, it's like one huge, it's the same exact people you fought in New York. You did it back then. I'm just waiting for you to do it again.
I did it back then, and it reminded me halfway through it, as the evidence was coming in, that this is just as dangerous as the mafia. In fact, more.
This is
This is
absolutely, this is worldwide now. We're talking, I mean, we got people from all around the world that's involved in this, and then we got the worst FBI ever. I mean, I knew they were corrupt all along, but oh my God.
Yeah, this has got
They're
to get.
worse than, I'd rather deal with the mafia than the FBI, actually. That's
I
how
don't-
bad they are. I'm taking it to extremes, of course. I don't mean that at all.
You're making that as a point, and I appreciate you're making that point. But the reality is, they at the worst juncture, they do approach what the mafia did. In the case of the FBI, it's only the upper echelon. I used to think it was confined just to the headquarters. I think it may infiltrate a little the Washington office too. Don't think it infiltrates the field offices at all. My only surprise is
unknown caller.
my only surprise is that there isn't more of an uprising within the FBI against it. Now, there are whistleblowers who have come forward as whistleblowers, but to me, I would have thought, with the kinds of crimes that Comey and the way the Hillary case was fixed, the way they handled the hard drive, the way Barr left that witness who claimed to have bank accounts of the Bidens and wanted to turn them over and would be killed if she didn't. They just left her hanging out there, Barr and the others. With all that happening, I would have thought people would have come forward more openly, like with the guts to say who they are. I sure would have. But I'm glad there are that many whistleblowers, and I hope they're protected. But this is the kind of thing where, you're at the point where everybody's got enough evidence. You don't want to be a Nazi prison guard. I mean, there's no way to say now, well, it was the government and the government told me to do it. Now, the government didn't tell you to break down a door at 5 a.m, kids crying, mothers screeching because, you're looking for a document that's missing. And then letting Hunter Biden go free when there's evidence that he's a danger to children and nobody does anything about it. No, at some point, you got to stand up. At some point, you become culpable when you let the corrupt institution manipulate you. And we're at that point now. If you can't figure out that the upper echelons of the FBI and DOJ are entirely corrupted, there's something wrong with you. All you have to do, big picture, is look at how long Hunter Biden's evidence of crimes has been out there and how little has been done about it, nothing. And the other people that were raided, the people that have been kept in jail for a year and a half, this whole charade that we saw with the shaman, the guy, I didn't see the guy provoke any kind of violence. Please come forward with it. Show me him provoking violence. What those slick, sneaky rats did, they showed pictures of violence involving other people, and then they showed him. But then when you just isolate on him, he's not anywhere near the people doing the violence. And he's surrounded by cops at every moment, and they're escorting him through the building. I mean, why wouldn't he think he was allowed to do it? Even if, and there's no evidence of it, I don't hear it on tape, but even if they said you have to leave, it's kind of inconsistent for a police officer to say you have to leave and then escort you throughout the building and help open up the door of the Senate for you. I mean, you got to at least admit there's a sense of confusion there. Finally, this case has got to be dismissed. This evidence was not given to the defense. This is probably the biggest, most outrageous, most blatant violation of the Brady rule I've ever seen. And that's the rule that says that a prosecutor has to turn over to the defense any evidence that sheds any light on the possibility of guilt for the defendant. Not evidence of innocence for the defendant. Not evidence of innocence, but anything that can be argued. And if you have any confusion about it, you have to turn it over because you can't act as the defense lawyer. And if you have real confusion, you give it to the judge. There's no confusion about this. The core charge is trespass, illegal entry. They open the door and hold it open for him and walk around with him in the building. Where's the illegal entry? What's illegal about it? If the police are accompanying you, and the police might want to say they were afraid of creating a riot. First of all, they had a riot. Second, he was nowhere near where the riot was. And third, even if he was, they had opportunities many, many times apart from the crowd to take him away. There's a whole scene there where he's surrounded by 8 cops. They could have just surrounded him and we'd never see him again. He'd be in a squad car going off to the police precinct, which is where this should have been handled if they were really concerned about his presence inside the building. This was a narrative they were developing. And then they developed the narrative of insurrection and having treated him that way was no longer consistent with it. So they put him in solitary confinement, like they did with the Japanese in the Second World War. That's not America, ladies and gentlemen. That is not America. And thank God we got people like Mike Huckabee, people like that with voices that are articulate and strong and moral and humorous. They can get this point across to people. He did a great monologue. You want to see it tomorrow night about this. Can we show, we're kind of near the end here.
Yep, we're about wrapped up, Mayor. Let's show them the.
Should we show them a little of the office?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can we just turn that around?
Yep. You can actually move it. If you want to try.
I can loop it?
You can move it right here. So we're gonna zoom out. See how it's zooming out? Then we can move it right here. For example.
Isn't that nice? Oh, there's a gold record up there.
You could zoom in to this golden record here.
Yep. There's a gold record.
What does that say right here? Def Leppard.
Pour some sugar on me. Pour some sugar on me.
You know that song?
Huh? Pour some sugar on me.
So then we can show some other items here.
Yeah. Nice little horse. Yeah, that's a horse, right? I guess.
So we really zoom out here.
Deer or an elk.
This is, we can give them the full 360 here.
It is great.
You're on camera now, Dr. Maria. You will be soon. You're not yet, but we're making our way over. That's an old camera right there, Mayor.
Is that a camera or is that a light?
Oh, actually, I don't know. It might be a light.
Like a Hollywood light.
That might be an old Hollywood light. I was
don't
thinking
know.
old Hollywood camera.
We're going to take a look in it after. We like what's behind it, One Nation Under God.
We do. So how about come back around and you send everybody out on a nice closing message from the office of Governor Mike Huckabee.
Which has another Huckabee in office right now, who we should mention did an extraordinary job in giving the Republican reply to the feckless State of the Union speech by our demented president. And she did a very effective job. And it wasn't just by comparison with the demented president. It was in comparison to many, many other people who have failed in doing that, because it is a very difficult thing to come down from the majesty of the State of the Union to then just replying. But she didn't try to imitate it, and she didn't try to emulate it. What she tried to do was communicate in her own way. And she did show the distinction between our two parties now, that they're the party of the elite and we're the party of you, the people particularly who feel ignored. I mean, I couldn't have felt that more strongly when Ted and I went to New Palestine, that what's going on there are people who feel that the government really has no caring for them. And if you can tell anything from body language, Buttigieg's body language with the people he was with, it was as if, my God, he doesn't want to be with those people ever. They're way below him. I mean, he's a secretary of, he doesn't actually know what, but he's the secretary of something. And that's important to be the secretary of something. They're going to tell him one of these days what it is so he can show up for work. But he's a secretary, like he was a mayor. He was a mayor. I'm a mayor. What did you do as a mayor? I was a mayor. See, this is what they're like. This is all, we're important. We can boss you around. The dictates of communism and socialism come easily to them because they've driven a great deal of principle out of their life. They seem to be at war with parents. They're at war with God. Not a good thing. Not a great place for our country to be. And that's why we need to keep concentrating on going around the country and finding people like this, people here, people all over, because they're the backbone of America. There's no such thing as a deplorable, particularly not a man or woman who believes in America, believes in God, believes in freedom. If you don't believe in God, at least believes in the fact that these are natural rights that we have that have to be protected, and believes in our way of life, most importantly. That's why I'm glad to be here with Mike Huckabee, who is a champion for that. And you have a good weekend now. Dr. Maria and I will be back with you on Sunday. On Sunday.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing Uncovering the Truth between 10 and 11 on WABCradio.com. And our podcast is out now. Rudy Giuliani, CS.com. And it'll take you through a lot of the problems that have now been created for those January 6 Japanese internment cases. That's what I call them. And the problem is that how much more exculpatory evidence is there? You have a boatload of exculpatory evidence with the Hunan Shaman. What about all the rest? There's another 40,000 hours of tape. And keep asking yourselves, why do the Democrats constantly want to cover this up? Why don't they want you to look at all the tapes? If it shows an insurrection. Huh? Why don't they want to identify? Why don't they want to use facial imaging to give us an exact number of how many Antifa people were there? Just the same reason they never wanted to give us a single paper ballot and got away with it. So we'll be back on Monday night. And then, of course, we'll be with you on Sunday and on Monday afternoon. And the podcast is available right now. God bless you and God bless America.